Mark from Jackson, Mississippi, he said, in the last few years, college football is looking more and more like the NFL. Now we might be adding OTAs. Is there a line that college football crosses over, that the sport loses its identity and turns into a watered-down version of the NFL, or am I worrying too much? OTAs are organized team activities. It's what the NFL has. It's not like an official practice, but it's a period where your team is allowed to get together and have activities under coaching supervision, kind of like T-shirts and shorts kind of stuff. NFL's done it for a long time. So he's saying that because there was a headline out of ACC Media Days where a committee met with the coaches, and one of the rules they're looking at possibly is adding in 6 potential OTA days. I think it was 6 that they can use if they want to. You don't have to use them. I was down at Miami yesterday. I talked to Mario Cristobal about that. He said, yeah, they presented it to us. I don't even know if I would use them, but it's nice to have the option to use them. So, Mark, I would say this. I get that you may be concerned that the Saturday game is taking on a little bit too much of a Sunday feel. I do get that. I've talked about that case by case myself on this show. So there are plenty of valid complaints to be had on this front, but this is not one of them. It's not one of them, to the point where, have you ever even paid attention to practice structure in college football? Or put another way, Mark, if you didn't read that headline, would you ever even know this is happening? Which is good logic, and it applies across a broad expanse of college football complaints. I have to tell myself this a lot because I do a college football show year-round, so if I'm not careful, I'll go down these rabbit holes of complaints, and then I'll go back and listen to one of our shows, and I'll say, you make this stuff sound a lot worse than it is, man. If I was an agnostic fan and I came and listened to your show, I'd be turned off from this sport. We never want to do that because we got the greatest sport in the world. So sometimes I have to take a step back, and I have to ask myself what I would suggest you ask yourself about this. Do you really care how guys practice? Do you ever keep up with how guys practice? Is this ever something you really track? Like I'm on these campuses a lot. I'm watching player-led workouts. I go participate in some of them. Not quite to the degree that those players do. So there's a little, drop off from production when I'm on the field. But it's fun to mix in with those guys sometimes. But point being, you don't even know they're happening. You don't even know they're happening. This is just kind of a headline that comes out, and then someone takes it and they plug it into another chain in a link of narrative that college football's selling out, going the way of the NFL. Hey, look, if it is, this is not the evidence. Like, this is not the smoking gun, Mark. Good advice, like I said, is how big is the crisis if you would have never known it was happening had someone not tapped you on the shoulder and told you? And a lot of that stuff happens in college football. A lot of it from NIL or the way the portal works, how much guys are getting paid now, how much an agent is involved. I'm not saying I love all this stuff or hate all this stuff. I'm saying a lot of people have had complaints about this. So let me cut in really quick and ask, look, prayer hands, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you think you're subscribed, check and make sure. Over 50% of you aren't. It's free. It doesn't sign you up for anything. And it helps us keep the show free, college football year-round, the way God intended it. All right, back to the clip. Just take the OTA headline, toss it up on top of the heat, Mark, and think about all of it, and then ask yourself, does Saturday still feel like Saturday in the fall? Because that's really the great barometer. So my answer is yes, Saturday still feels like Saturday in the fall. I am looking at B-roll right now. Colin's showing me Georgia B-roll. So let's say Tennessee's in town. There's Ohio State. Let's say Michigan's in town. And let's say it's midway through the third quarter and they're deadlocked at 17 and it's 4th and 1 on your own 38-yard line and they're opting to go for it. Clock's ticking down, huddle breaks, 5, 4, 3, crowds at full throat. Just pause right there. Is anybody thinking about whether Ohio State had OTA workouts? Is anybody thinking about how much the left tackle's making? You're not. So the point is, the game hasn't really been ruined at all. If that moment feels different, if that moment is ruined, then college football has ruined itself. But I think college football is extremely resilient. Like, it is extremely strong. It's the redwood. You could chop a redwood down, but you don't do it with 5 or 10 swings. You don't do it with 5,000 or 10,000 swings. It'd take a lot to chop down a redwood, all concentrated all at one spot on that tree. And don't do it because you'll get arrested. But point being, it takes a lot to ruin college football. That's a byproduct of how great it is. And so, you know, if Wake Forest has coaches on the field and guys in shorts and T-shirts in early July for a couple of days, I just don't think that is tantamount to us becoming NFL Lite.